On this episode of the Ktown Connects podcast, we reconnect with two of our favorite past guests and see what they're up to now. We welcome two of the best media outlets in Kenosha as they are changing how journalism should be done and adding credibility that most news sources lack in this area. It is my honor to introduce Koerri Elijah and Danielle Thompson. Cue that music.
Kenosha, that great big busy town, right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Well, the wonderful East, the beautiful West, that's the right place to be proud. Singing so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, our hometown.
All right, welcome to the Ktown Connects podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Donny, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Jason.
Hey, Jason, we got a rockin' show right now going on, huh?
Well, everything's all backwards today because we're recording on a Sunday. We usually do Mondays. We're not at Luigi's where we usually are. Instead, we're at Faded Barbershop for Men.
Yep, and they are located in Uptown Kenosha at 2227 63rd Street. Book your next haircut by contacting Boda or Trish through their Faded Barbershop for Men's Facebook page or by texting 262-612-9354. Get that haircut.
Wow, you really took that in a different direction.
Yeah, I did. I just want to give our friends Boda and Trish that plug right away.
I thought we were doing small talk.
We can go into small talk now.
Okay.
You need your haircut, by the way.
I do. I'll need a haircut before our big show coming up.
Yes, December 11th.
Yeah.
Never forget.
But you can also find the Ktown Connects podcast on Spectrum Channel 14 and the Kenosha Community Media streaming channel on your Roku box. There are episodes every Wednesday at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 5 p.m.
Wow, we're on TV.
Yeah, so instead of listening on your phone whenever you want, you can tune in at a specific time and
see whatever
see some random episode that pops up.
To put on there.
But it's good background noise.
Yeah, it really is. Don't forget to follow the Ktown Connects podcast on all social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Drop us a review on Facebook or on your favorite podcast provider and help us spread the word about the hottest podcast in town. And what podcast is that?
Is that the old word with Koerri Elijah?
Well, that's one of them. That's one of them. Also Inside the Mind with Danielle Thompson. But we're talking about the Ktown Connects podcast.
Exactly. And don't forget, you can show your support for Ktown Connects by getting your very own Ktown Connects merchandise, courtesy of the Letter Machine. They got t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanies, koozies, and more. And you can find a quick link to that at ktownconnects.com.
We'd also like to give a special shout out to our Patreon supporter of the week, Matt Glomman. Thank you, Matt, for joining the after party at patreon.com/KtownConnects. Matt and all of our Patreon supporters get early access to each episode, bonus material, and the critically acclaimed bonus show, It Is What It Is, plus so much more. And here's the best part. Subscriptions start as low as, get this, $2 a month.
Wow.
That's a cup of coffee.
A month?
Yeah.
I need more than one cup of coffee a month.
Yeah, you do, especially when we record these episodes.
It kind of smells like coffee in here, by the way.
I dumped the coffee I bought you at Common Grounds this morning all over the floor.
Well, the thought that counts.
Yeah, one of those days. But you can find the quick link at ktownconnects.com, so become a Patreon subscriber and get all that extra good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're just going to see what you guys are up to nowadays because you guys, Koerri, you were on episode 3. People can go back in the archives. Daniel, you were on our episode 4. People can go back in the archives and learn all about you guys. We're just going to catch up with you.
When we originally had Koerri on, I think that was during the week of all the shit going down, right?
Yes.
Wasn't that the night they had the curfews and things, and we had to kind of like think, oh, can we be out after 7 o'clock?
That's perfect because that was kind of like an opening of, of the chapter, or it was like the start of the chapter of my life,
Yeah.
And then I'm at the point of closing that chapter and going on to the next one. So this is perfect.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, it's romance.
Now, as anyone from Kenosha knows, you were there during all of the stuff that happened in August of 2020. You recorded just most of everything that was going on. You were subpoenaed to the Rittenhouse trial, and you were there. Now, we don't need to talk about the trial and the issues with Rittenhouse or any of the people like that because that's been done to death.
Right.
But I'd like to know more about your experience with the Kenosha County courts and how you got subpoenaed to testify. How did you know you were going to appear and be a witness?
So I got a phone call. I got a mystery phone call.
Ooh.
Right. And then when I answered the phone, I was like, I got a mystery phone call. They left a voicemail. It was a detective. And I was like, interesting. Detective. Why would a detective be reaching out to me? Or is it, so I was like, well, it could be, be one of one or nothing. I was like, I don't know. I have no idea why a detective is calling me. So.
Yeah.
So I called them back. I was like, all right, well, I mean, if you're reaching out for something, I probably should see what it is.
He's just going to call you again.
Did you think it was like almost a prank almost?
No. I mean, I had no idea what it could be. I figured maybe it had something to do with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Like, I knew things were approaching. But in the back of my mind too, like I kind of figured I would get subpoenaed for the case, just based off of information that internet sleuths were like sending to me and stuff. Like people were freaking out, like you have this key moment of when he passed, and so I was like, all right, well maybe since you guys are freaking out, maybe they'll want to use that for some reason or something. I don't know, but I kind of just left that in the back of my mind. So I, when they contacted me, I was like, all right, well. It's either that or someone's trying to set me up or something. So I called them and they just basically explained everything. They asked me if I can come down. I came down. It was like a few days later or whatever. That's where they, I met with the prosecutor, met with the detective that was there. He was, it was interesting. The whole process of all of this, I will say, was interesting from my perspective, being in like my position, because, like certain people were like really intrigued in like what like I do and are just like me personally because they're local, I'm local and stuff like that. And so I don't know, it's been really weird with just like everyday people, I suppose, but to see like I don't know, like a detective is like really intrigued in what I do, and in the back of my mind I'm like, I don't know if he's like detectiving me, or if he is like genuinely like interested in stuff like that. So I just kind of chopped it up as he was genuinely interested, and he was being nice and friendly and stuff like that.
Did you have to hand over some of the footage you took?
No. They had everything that I captured was live on Facebook. Okay. I haven't taken anything down or anything like that, and I've been saying publicly since then, I was like, everything is live. I haven't been taking anything down. So if there's anything that anyone ever, needs, it's
right
public.
there.
So
you can grab it.
There's nothing that you really need to ask me for. It's there, I'm sure Facebook you could just download it from Facebook. Right. The cops and the FBI and all that stuff. I'm sure you guys can get videos on
the FBI looking at your stuff. That's big time, right?
Hey, man, it's DC. That's the big boy. Yeah. So like from there, it was kind of just like the waiting game, as I suppose as a social media influencer. Like I was described myself, I suppose, at the trial, because I really didn't know what I make content on the internet and it generates revenue. so that's what I am. So after that point, like I went live and stuff, I was kind of just like talking to people and
stuff. Did they tell you can talk about anything?
So not until the day I actually got there. So the day that I was subpoenaed, so on the 2nd, they had me come super, super early.
Was this the first day of the testimonies, the day that you appeared?
Yes. Yeah, it was the first day of the testimony.
Did you know you were going to be the second witness called, or you didn't know?
They said I would go up second.
Okay.
And it's all over, so I can say whatever now. Yeah. So so they had me in the room with Dominic Black. I had no idea who he was. It was just like, they were like, you guys can't talk about the case or anything like that. And I was like, I don't really seem to be the type of person that would have something in common with this kid here anyway.
Now, if someone doesn't know, he was the previous witness, and he was there. He's the one who
Kyle's friend
that got in the gun.
Yes, that supplied the weapon.
Okay.
So yeah, he was like in the room with his brother or whatever. So I'm just watching YouTube videos, minding my own business, finding out after the fact who he is. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of weird.
Did you get any of that free lunch that the jury got?
Oh, I got no lunch at all. No. I don't even know if I'm getting paid. I don't think so. I testified earlier in the summer and I got $7.
Oh.
And this is like a bigger, this is bigger. I was like, maybe I'll get 14.
I mean, $7 is most of a pack of cigarettes.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll send me a check later or something.
Where did you get those awesome suits you were wearing?
Oh, Mike Bjorn.
Those were you look real good.
Thanks.
I'm glad you had 2 suits because I only have one, and I'd be wearing the same one each day.
No, I feel. Yeah, I was like, I contemplated. I was like, what should I like wear? And I was like, well, I imagine.
I should have got you a Ktown Connect shirt.
I have one, and also I also thought about wearing like some of my merch. I was like, that'd be kind of weird. I could subtly like plug Mike Bjorn's by wearing the suit and stuff like that. And if someone asks, then I could be like, oh, I got it from the only place you would ever buy a suit in Kenosha.
Just like on the stand, just like, oh, I'm sorry, it's kind of hot in here. Just unzip my hoodie. It's just like just a huge O word.
It's like, wait, what was that? What did I see?
Hold on, that's warm. Did prosecution or defense provide you any questions ahead of time?
No. There was no. They asked me questions. They asked me like, they asked me if I knew who Yellow Pants Man was and stuff like that. They asked me like to verify video that it was my video.
Yeah.
There's like this grand conspiracy that's going on, at least that I'm seeing on social media about how like I was coached by the prosecution and I said everything that they wanted me to say. And it's like, clearly they're going to ask questions and they're going to have a general idea of how maybe I might answer the question.
Yeah.
I'm a wild card. As, people on.
I like how you just kept bringing up. You were noticing his gloves smoking cigarettes. That is so weird. You don't see that every day.
All I'm saying is, and people. There was even a person in the courtroom. So the first day, I waited all day. They had me come at 10 in the morning. I didn't get on the stand until like 4:20 or something like that. So
4:20.
And then they asked me questions for like 20 minutes or something like that. And they were like, all right, well, we're going to go home. And I was like, oh, all right. And I was like, so I don't have to come back, right? They're like, no, we need you to come back tomorrow. I'm like, well, you wasted my entire day. Like my entire day was wasted.
Yeah.
But it's all right. Luckily, I had the second suit, came back. Second suit was probably a little bit more fire anyway. So.
Is that the purplish one?
The burgundy.
Yes, the burgundy.
Yeah, we have the burgundy.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. But But then they were just asking whatever, I just answered however I could. The gloves were weird. They stand out. Like, who wears gloves? Like, you have a gun.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with like we're not talking about if he's like if it was right, if it was wrong, or any of this stuff. All I'm saying is wearing gloves with an AR-15. Smoking cigarettes is kind of weird because like you're chain smoking cigarettes, you have a gun. There's been talks like online and in the crowds and all this stuff about people like randomly killing people.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I don't necessarily feel like it's true, but then also
it's in the back of your mind.
People are talking about that. Also, why are you really here? Honestly, like you don't like. Of course, if you're protecting property, whatever, I guess. But also, why are you here? And then you have a giant gun. There was other people with huge guns, bigger guns, and stuff like that too. So it's not just him, but he was the only person that had gloves on. And all I know is like I've seen movies. I listen to rap music from time to time, and like if you're gonna like do something nefarious, you don't want to have fingerprints on a gun. And if you're a medic, why would you be wearing your gloves that you're gonna heal people with?
Yeah,
it's like they're contaminated,
picking up germs all day.
The only purpose of having the gun and the gloves at the same time, in my opinion, would be I don't know, but
I mean, let's put it this way. If you ever see me walking towards you with a handgun or a gun and I'm wearing gloves, I'm not there to save you.
It's suspect, bro. And and the only thing I don't understand, like people are super mad that I said that. And like, what? It's like they were going to burn down the gas station and all of that. And it's like, regardless of whatever you think about that, wearing gloves and having a gun is suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Covering those prints
is like, that's like, and that's not crazy to say.
No.
Yeah.
No, because I've seen the video, that same thing. I thought, what the heck is this?
It's like, I don't know, man. Like, it's dark. You have gloves on, and you have a gun.
It's not like he was gonna go scrub down a bathroom with those gloves on or something.
Man. All I'm saying is, if you like, I don't know. I wouldn't do this, but if I wanted to like randomly shoot people and get away with it,
you want prints on the gun.
You don't want any prints, and it's dark, and you could go anywhere. You could shoot someone clearly from a long distance with that. There's all of these other people that are armed, so not saying that's what you were planning, because all I'm saying is that's always a possibility.
Yeah, that's what you explained there. You said, "Hey, this stuck out to me." I'm just telling you.
So all the people that are upset and inboxing me crazy things, I don't work for the Democrats. I promise. I don't even believe in the left-right paradigm.
So were you relieved then when you were done? You're like, "Oh, it's over for me."
I mean, yes. So as of right now, it's about now. I'm just like looking towards moving on in the next phase of everything. And, we've built a nice community that continues to grow and stuff like that. So, I'm just focusing on that.
I watched the trial. I watched your testimony. I liked your remarks about the skateboard when the defense was grilling you about that and about how you would use it as a weapon. You're like, I use it to ride. Would you hold it by the trucks to hurt somebody? I don't know. I would. I don't use my skateboard to hit people with.
My thing is and with that too, because people were like, I don't know, a lot of people really loved that. They thought it was funny, and of course, every time I do anything, I try to keep things light.
Yeah.
And also, though, you're not going to paint me as some sort of vicious person that is an expert killer that uses a skateboard to hurt people and all of that.
Right.
Because the entire time, that's, in my opinion, and they're talking to me, I could notice that they were trying to paint a picture of me that's not me.
Yeah,
so it's no, I'm not going with that. Also, I do have fairly large hands, and I can hold a skateboard several different ways if I were,
right.
If I wanted to do that.
So all this is behind you now. What's next for the Koerri Elijah brand? Where do you go from here?
I'm just looking to continue to grow. I mean, we have, like I said, I've grown a fairly loyal and faithful community that I have here. So really just looking at expanding into different areas. Things that I've kind of in the works that I've been kind of waiting for this moment to kind of launch, so people don't look at me like
'cause it's almost like now
weird.
You're free of this.
Yeah, I'm exactly. So I want to get more into the entertainment space, kind of where I was before. Doing podcasts at Comic-Cons and things of that nature, hosting stuff like that, creating new forms of media for maybe the area as well as, just nationally, stuff online, things of that nature, and continuing just doing streams. Of course, I'm going to go out and about, but it's about to be wintertime, so I want to have some fun, talk about, what's happening in the news.
Because you've always been more
topics.
of a pop culture kind of guy.
Yeah.
You just kind of fell into covering some events and going live and going on your skateboard and covering stuff, and then you fell into, what we all know.
Yeah.
Just by happenstance, pretty much.
Yeah, and it is what it is. You roll with the punches, and you adjust, when you have to. And of course, there's a lot of things that I do locally and things like that, talking to the candidates for sheriff and things of that nature. There's a lot of other things that are going to be going on in the community. We still have all of this stuff going on with the Kin neighborhood and stuff as we kind of follow it growing and stuff like that. And also even uptown in the area to see what actually happens over here. So, we're keeping our ears to the streets in a way and seeing what's going on in the area, but also, staying true to myself and not necessarily involving myself in things that aren't necessarily my lane, that I don't want to force things.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a disingenuous person, so I just continue to move on, doing the things that I'm interested in. If people
that you enjoy,
and if people are down with that, then they're down with it. Come hang out. We have a cool chat, and when we're live, people are from all different walks of life and political aisles and all of that different stuff. But the chat for the most part, especially after this last couple weeks or so, going through the trial, and as volatile as it's been, there has been it's been interesting to see the chat where most people are civil. Of course, there's a few people coming in and out that are inflammatory, but for the most part, people come back with the energy that I present, and it's nice to see that growing and growing and growing and growing. So.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we also have Daniel Thompson here.
Yes, let's move on to Daniel here.
He was on our show in early September of 2020, shortly after everything happened. We had a great time. You were just kind of starting out your Uptown Observer then.
Yeah, it was just beginning.
How's that going?
It's going well. It's been interesting.
Yeah.
Being the Observer.
And this is a digital publication.
Digital publication. Yep. And the Observer, it's funny because even when I look back over the year, I think when I was on here, I had one idea about it, like making it more of a national, like almost a news, like give Kenosha like a straightforward, like trustworthy news source.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as that would be great if I wanted that, if that was like where my heart truly lies, over the last year I've realized that, you know, it's better to serve the community by highlighting stuff that also plays to my own interests, because you never burn out that way.
Right.
So just in the last month, I stopped doing government coverage, mostly because I would see one group of protesters one week, and then I'd see an angry counter group the next week, and I realized that showing people stuff isn't helping. Nobody's really listening or talking about things. People just want to fight right now. So I'd rather spend my time on a part of the community that has been long neglected, which is musicians, artists, the entertainment scene here in Kenosha, which has always been something.
Yeah, we have a great scene here.
It's fantastic here.
Yeah, we have I would almost argue we have more talent. We have more musicians probably in Kenosha than our surrounding cities.
I agree with that.
And quality musicians too. And nobody really ever notices that, because Kenosha, for whatever reason,
they almost take it for granted. Almost.
Yeah, it's almost like they sidestepped a music legacy for like holding on to the Chrysler and all that legacy. When really, in my mind, Kenosha has always, or since I've been back, has been really a music arts town. I mean, that's really what drives
any
a lot.
Any day of the week you can go see a great band or look at some art with all the great galleries that we have here as well. I mean, it needs to be exposed, and I think you're doing a great job doing that as well.
Thank you. And yeah, plus the other thing is, I'm tired of focusing on subjects and presenting things in ways that cause friction. Like talking about news or any local government thing, or even the whole Rittenhouse trial and everything, which I completely avoided basically talking about, besides a few little things here and there. You get wrapped up in what you're talking about, not who you're talking to. So a good way of pulling back from that for me, because I'm getting kind of tired of seeing people for what we don't agree on, is just getting to know the other aspects of them. I mean, I argue with people, or people try to argue with me all the time, and I'll just tell them, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care to fight with you right now.
Yep.
We disagree on this, but maybe we agree on other things.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on the other areas of the community that maybe we have more commonality, which is always the arts and creativity and music, because that's more of a kind of free from negativity space. Like it's a safe space,
right,
as people say.
And like you said, it's something that you enjoy.
Exactly. You're throwing people into a situation that's already kind of positive, and they get to know the more positive sides of each other. And that way they get to kind of care about each other. And you don't like just run up and punch or like yell at somebody you care about. You give them a chance. Yep. And I think that's kind of where we need to get, is we just need to start giving each other a chance again.
Yeah, and what better way to do that through the arts, through music? I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So do you have any contributors to the Uptown Observer right now?
I do. So just in the last month, I started kind of wanting to pull away from being the main writer, thinking I had to do everything myself. Mm-hmm. So I put out a post, just saying, like, if anybody wants to contribute or lend their voice to the Observer, I'm more than happy. And Tammy, I know her by a different last name, but I think she goes by Tammy PC, yeah. PC, yeah. She,
former owner of the Nook downtown Kenosha.
One of my favorite spots back in the day.
So she reached out to me, and she's very interested in the art scene and everything like that. So we had a conversation, and I basically told her the same thing I tell everybody that wants to write for me, is I kind of offer a platform and a structure, but it's your voice and kind of how you want to do it. I'm not going to critique you in a lot of ways. I don't go for a uniform thing. I want it to be individual between writers.
Well, you get different takes on things, and
exactly
that might get new people to the site and all that stuff.
I don't want to curtail or limit people to myself or my own styles, and I think it adds more when I just let them be them.
There you go. Didn't Tammy interview you, Jason? I thought I saw something.
Oh,
maybe.
Spoiler alert.
I know a few coming up. Yeah. No. Tammy's taking off running. She did a great job with a recent story about Brent Mitchell, who is a fascinating guy
fantastic
to talk to. and just taking photos in his house of all his art and stuff for me was interesting. But no, it's been great because people have actually been like Tammy and even some other people like Keith Pauley is contributing something. So people are starting to buy in, and I'm getting more voices from the community, which was important to me because after a while I started seeing too much of myself in it. Like just because I created it doesn't mean that I have to look at it as my solid only legacy. It doesn't have to be something that's completely unchanged or doesn't veer off from what I would.
It needs to evolve.
Yeah, it needs to evolve, and it needs to do it naturally.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest lesson over the last year is just roll with things. Don't try to fight it when you realize that something's going a different direction. Don't try to correct. Just go with it. See what happens. Like, you can always switch back later, but it's like, don't.
Hey, you want to go in the direction that you feel comfortable in, what you like to do.
Oh, yeah. If you're not comfortable with what you're doing, then stop doing it.
All right, I'm done with this podcast. And that's the uptownobserver.com they can go to. They can find it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes, on Twitter, which is really just my personal one because after I quit my job, that was the one that people flocked to. So
you got that big retweet from Mark Ruffalo.
Exactly.
So you got to keep that account, right?
Exactly.
She-Hulk's coming out too. Back in the spotlight.
I see you're still doing music thing with the Danielle as 3am Saints.
I am. And that's been interesting. Like lately I've taken a little bit, I do a weekly open mic at Fusion from 4 to 8, which is nice.
On Sundays.
Yeah, on Sundays, that's good consistency. And recently I've just started kind of home recording another EP because it's been a couple years since I actually put out any like recorded like studio-ish music. And it just sometimes it helps to get back into it, or even I like to take time to just enjoy the style I've created over the years and play with it a little bit. So no, music goes well. Like, and it's funny, I don't seek a lot of stuff out, but I've become like that go-to, like if somebody needs a last minute, like, hey, can you play a quick, like an hour set? Like so many people reach out to me because they know that most of the time I'm just like, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Have guitar, we'll travel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty easygoing about it.
And then you also have your podcast you're doing. It's called Inside the Mind of Daniel Thompson. You're doing that on occasion. How's that going?
That goes well. It's funny because Inside the Mind of Daniel Thompson is like that one area where like it's really me delving deeply into kind of mental health and just my own thoughts in ways that aren't maybe as digestible as posts or articles that I'd write or anything I would do professionally, because it's like I like it. Why I named it Inside the Mind of Daniel Thompson is because I'm trying to be more raw there about feelings, about stories, about kind of more showing people, I realized that, okay, I've struggled with mental health, things like that since I was like 9. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people that do, but for whatever reason, we get really nervous about talking about it because there's always that fear of rejection, especially if you grew up in like the 90s or anything like that. Like, oh my God, try to be sensitive around somebody in the 90s. So it was, so it took me a while, but then when I started sharing things, actually when I first started, when I was 3am Saints, before I changed the name to Daniel and his 3am Saints, I started sharing things like that, and it was really interesting how many people would reach out to me like, I feel the same way. I just, I don't like saying it out like in public and things like that. So I started realizing that I was making these connections with people and giving them kind of a way to vicariously like voice their own things ish, or to kind of live through that. And so with the podcast, even still, it's like, it's funny. Just this past week, my brother Nate was looking on Facebook at one of his friends' things. And Nate lives in Nebraska, and we haven't talked that much recently because we've both been really busy. But I got a text from him that he was somewhere else, and he saw a silhouette that looked like his brother, clicked on it, and led him to this episode about loneliness that I have on my podcast. And he was like, that really touched me. So it led to this like connecting moment with my brother too, which is funny because like you wouldn't think, like we're brothers. You think like we're pretty close, but there are still these things that bring us even closer. So that kind of thing is what I'm going for. And that's the kind of connection I like to make now, instead of, I don't want to be the person that everybody's like, okay, man, what's going on with the city?
Right.
Like, I don't want to be that guy. I really don't. I want to be the guy that people watch his stuff and they're like, you know what? That's an interesting person he was talking to, or something like that. Yeah.
You give them, you give them the feels.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy's feeling this way. I feel this. I can connect this way.
Well, yeah, and more of a range of emotion. Like, people are very comfortable with being angry. People aren't very comfortable with being, like, sad or just feeling jaded or just feeling like having an off day. Like, I'm just not good today, you know?
And that's Inside the Mind with Daniel Thompson. You can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your provider is. Got to give a word with Koerri Elijah a plug as well. That's also on any podcast provider. And you kind of have a different show than Daniel, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
But Daniel has been on your show.
Yeah, he
Oh, I have.
Yes, he has. Yeah. With Oh Word, the approach that I take with that is, and season 2 is coming soon for everyone that is, interested or wondering about that. But I really just talk to different people, from all different like walks of life and perspectives and stuff like that. Entertainers, musicians, journalists, just even like my friends sometimes, just people that have interesting stories. That kind of make you say, of course, the show is called Oh Word. So, word, like, that's interesting, Yeah, we've talked to some interesting people. I had Betsy Aid on, Charlie Talbert came on, Daniel's been on. I'm gonna have to get you guys on at some
now we're
point too. But just people that do do things that, I mean, typically people don't necessarily always do. Of course, the people are musicians and things of that nature, but you don't always get to listen in on, their perspective on just general things, right? It's like, yeah, you may be whatever you are. And of course, we'll touch on that a little bit, but I'm more interested on, talking to the person and hearing what they have to say about just everyday things and stuff, stuff like that. So
then are the live videos with your interviews, is that the same as Oh Word, or is it two different?
So they're two different things, right?
Okay.
So the live interviews, although I believe 1 or 2 of the live interviews I used as Oh Word episodes, just because the kind of
great,
how
right?
they were great in how I handled them. But also, I do interviews with like community members and things of that nature, right? So that is kind of like strictly for my Facebook platform, because on Facebook, a lot of people know me in the area on my Facebook page. My approach with Oh Word is more of like a internet-based, like national or global approach, I guess. The interviews that I do that aren't a part of Oh Word that I do on the Facebook page, it's more just like geared and targeted.
Judges, school board members.
Right. I playlist them, and kind of label them as community type videos.
Well, I see, like, for example, your most recent episode of Oh Word was taken from the Wizard Comic-Con in Chicago you went to.
Right.
And you were with Daniel Thompson and Lakota Lichwalt, and you guys did a panel about superheroes in real life, which I thought was very interesting. But Daniel, I got to ask you, now Koerri, you're a veteran to these cons. You've been going to them for years. But Daniel, this is your first time going to one?
It was my first time going to one.
Well, what'd you think about it?
It was great. So, like, people don't realize this, but, like, I'm a huge, like, comic book nerd. Like,
that's why I've read you to come, man.
Yeah, exactly. I've read, like, so many, and Koerri's seen my, like, the hard copies that I used to keep in my old apartment too. But it's like, so any chance to be part of that, I always wanted to. It would always seem like it was something I would really enjoy. I just was always working.
Yeah.
Like, even when, let's say, when I was in Indiana, and you have Indy and everything, or Chicago too, but I used to work like 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. So like, there was no way on my one day off, like, oh yeah, let me just go to this place. No, I'm laying in bed. So like, no, walking in there and like seeing all the cool stuff, all the creative works, the old comics, even at a moment that I didn't know I was going to have. So real talk, when I was younger, I used to watch Buffy, right? So James Marsters was Spike on there. And so he was there.
Oh, cool.
Like doing that whole photograph and signing thing. And I wasn't going to like pay for it or anything, even though I thought about it. But like I saw him and like I was unfazed by everybody else, but I saw him and then I went, And like, I didn't know that about myself. And I kind of just had to smoke a cigarette and decompress, like just kind of like work through that after that.
Little starstruck?
Yeah,
cool.
It's like,
oh my gosh.
That's how I got when you guys walked in here for the podcast.
But no, that was really cool. And like, I'd love to go back to things like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy doing now, actually, you know, living life, since I was kind of stuck being obligated to like committing my time to, okay, report on things, dude. Basically, I spent 9 years of my life telling other people's stories, and now I just kind of want to take time to enjoy my own.
Yeah, and make your own.
Yeah. Exactly.
You guys are doing a great job with everything that you both are doing separately and together. I mean, it's
well,
great.
Speaking of together,
that's where I was going to.
We got to talk about this. You guys formed a kind of a partnership with Ron Dean Brown, Keno AF.
Yeah.
That you kind of started this year, and kind of what's going on with that? What's
Yeah, so we really wanted to kind of form like a collective.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way we can kind of always kind of have a place where we can lean on each other.
Yeah.
You know, the plan, especially going into the future, is, you know, we want it to be something that is a hub for us, right?
Yeah.
Where we can create content or have people come, whatever the, you know, the purpose may be. So that's kind of where we're looking at going into the future. It's been like a wild year.
Right.
Now that, now that we're all kind of at a point where we're able to, you know, like we were talking about before, like turn the page into the next chapter of, you know, everything that we have going on. We could really, you know, come together and, you know, come and, like you said, like create a hub where people can come. Say if we're having an event, we have a venue for people to come and, you know, express themselves however, you know, they, you know, kind of want to, you know, whatever it may be, have merchandise, people can be creative, but then also have a spot where we can handle stuff like, you know, Inside the Mind of Daniel Thompson, or A Word with Koerri Elijah, and things like that.
Okay.
So
just kind of like, because, well, really when we think about it, so for a long time, we didn't really have many independents in the area, but now, you know, we have a growing number. I mean, just in the last year, I popped up, Koerri popped up, Lakota popped up. You guys are doing your thing. We have so many. And the unfortunate thing about the independent world versus the corporate world is that it's almost like people expect you to be more adversarial because you're not covered by the corporate safety net. Like, you're literally working to make enough money to like pay your bills, you know, feed your family and things like that. So it's interesting because even people, when me and Koerri were first starting out, there came a point where it's like people started wanting me to like see Koerri as competition and things like that. And I shut it down immediately. And that actually led to the thought of, wait, why don't we just work together? So then, you know, we started meeting. And the funny thing is that, especially Koerri, me and Koerri have conversations about our individual stuff I probably wouldn't have with anybody else. So it's like we have a Keno AF and Koerri and Ron. It's like having that group that you can return to. That's just there.
Family,
like,
almost.
Yeah,
Family.
pretty much. It's like you regroup and you're like, okay, I need help with this thing, and then you work it through. If it's an individual thing, go back out. Now you have your answers. If we're collaborating, we'll just keep working it through. Like, it's just, like you said, it's a hub for kind of people that, want a family, want a collective, want something to be part of that won't try to control them, but is there to help them.
Yeah, support. You know, I get a lot of people too, just like that just have questions about content creation or whatever it may be, you know, or just advice. I mean, I've had all different types of people, even, you know, some people that are, you know, creating events themselves and, you know, running some stuff that is fairly large, but don't know how to handle like certain pressures of things and stuff like that, you know? So it's kind of, again, it's like a collective, like a hub or like a family, like a base where you can go and you can ask any of us and you can feel safe, you know? Like I generally don't want anything from anyone, you know, like, of course, support and stuff from, you know, followers and things like that, of course. But like when it comes to on an individual basis, you know, I'm really just trying to give out the energy that I would want to receive, you know. I'm an older person too, you know. I'm 33, so I kind of
That's funny.
I look at it.
That's funny.
I look at it as like I'm the OG, you know, and I have knowledge, and I really just want to, you know, give people knowledge. If I can give the game, then I will. You know,
and it's good for the community. See everybody getting along, working together. If so many years in this town, everybody's at each other's throats. Why not let people work together and bring something better to the community?
Well, exactly, yeah, and it's interesting to me that we were at each other's throats for so long, and that none of us really thought, like, you know, if I take my skill set and my experience and I'm able to impart just some of that on somebody else who might need some of those skills, if we all just do that in our community will get better.
And then everybody has a better brand. Everything's out there. I mean, it all clicks.
Yeah, it benefits everyone. It literally does. I find there's so many days where I find myself like saying, man, I really wish there was like more people that did what I did, just so I can collaborate with people and we can bounce ideas off each other and, you know, whatever it may be, you know, just or even just help someone, you know, with a video if they want like an appearance in a video or whatever it may be, you know, like just something to keep the juices flowing as well. You know, it's, you know, doing what I do is it gets stagnant sometimes.
Yeah,
it gets
exhausting.
tough. Yeah, and it's just like I want to keep things fresh. I want to be able to, you know, continue to be energized by thinking about, you know, going out in the streets and making videos or recording something and editing a video for hours on end. You know, it's nice to be able to lean on someone that also knows what the grind is like. You know, even though it may even be kind of different, it's still a grind, you know. Like me and Daniel's approach, and that's when people were trying to pin us like against each other. I was like, but our approach is completely different. We're like, you know, he's more polished, I would say. You know, I literally am just, my whole thing is I'm just leaning on being me, you know. And if that's not
that's
good,
so much more endearing, you know.
Your charming personality.
I mean, that's, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, you know. But that's what I got for you guys. I could switch it up, but then it would be, to me,
true to yourself.
Exactly. You know, I don't want to be disingenuous. I want to just be myself, and that's what's cool about it, because we can collaborate in a way where, you know, we can meet each other in the middle in a kind of way, or if he needed help on, you know, something, even if it's just information or has a question about something, you know, maybe I could just provide information to help him complete his story or something that. Or if I need someone to come to help, you know, co-host a podcast at a Comic-Con or something like that, you know,
he's your man.
I'm there.
You know? Yeah, that's what I like. You know, when we all met, I think it was in April. Kind of all sat down at Harborside Common Grounds, a great sponsor of the Ktown Connects podcast, and we just shot ideas back and forth, and that's what it's really all about. Hey, everybody's got different ideas. Take some. Oh, I might learn something here. Oh, that's dumb, but you know, everybody learns from it, and that's what's so good about this kind of community that we have all formed here with the independent. Is that what we can call ourselves?
Independent media.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And I think it's especially important now. I mean, let's face it, over the last year, and still, people don't get Kenosha right. I mean, I saw an article. I won't say who it was.
Oh, you can.
Oh, okay. So, did you know that Kenosha is mostly Hispanic, according to Tucker Carlson? So, I saw that, and then I thought, like, how little do the people that, for the past year, have had their eyes glued to one part of our city really know Kenosha?
Right.
And so anything we do for each other, as far as helping somebody with a podcast, helping somebody with anything they're doing here locally that shows our better sides, or shows not even our better sides, just shows it accurately, is good for all of us. Because let's face it, right now, there are a lot of people out there that think that we're something we're really not.
Yep. Right.
And it's going to be really hard to change their mind. And I think we really need to get to work doing that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, speaking of collaborations and teamwork and benefiting, I guess this is a good time as any to toot our upcoming event.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
On Saturday, December 11th, we have a Kenosha Christmas Carol.
Bah humbug.
We're teaming up with Keno AF, and a bunch of other local business owners are helping us out. And the tickets are sold out, but we'll be live streaming on all of our channels: Ktown Connects, Koerri Elijah, Daniel Thompson, Uptown Observer,
Fusion,
yeah, all these different ones. The event's sponsored by La Macchia Travel, Frank's Diner, and Luigi's Pizza Kitchen, which we also need to mention.
Oh, yes.
Luigi's is doing a special for us that week.
Yes, starting Tuesday, December 7th to Sunday, December 12th. Every large pizza that is purchased during that week, $1 from that purchase will go to
our benefit.
That will raise money for toys for the needy.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Shoes. Thank you, Jake Ziccarelli, for that. That is fantastic. So order those pizza pies.
Yeah,
what week is that again?
December 7th through the 12th, I believe.
Yeah, the week around our event. Yeah,
nice. I'll make sure I get some pizzas.
That's great. Thank you for that, Jake.
But we got a great event coming up. We got Koerri, you're going to interview Santa Claus. You're going to do kind of a version of your Hot Takes Wings, but it's going to be with eggnog and with Santa Claus.
Played by Kevin Irwin.
I enjoyed that experience. My body did not.
Yeah, that one was kind of rough for me, too.
I still flash back to the last two, and I'm just like, I've never struggled to speak before like that.
I've had, since then, I've had numerous people hit me up like, hey, man, I want to come on. So we might bring it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring it back.
I'll be there to watch.
And thank you for taking it easy on us when we were out there. Thank you.
Yeah, you were very, very nice to us, considering what I heard from other people. So, yeah, you're going to do that. The eggnog, Daniel, you're going to perform some music for us. We got some comedians. Jordan Pauly's going to do a little stand-up.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah, great.
We got Jacob Morgan from the Odd Man Rush show from WIP. He's going to be doing some stand-up. This is his first gig, so we're putting him on after Jordan. We don't want him to open up the show and get booed out.
We don't want everyone to leave right away.
We'll take it easy on him.
Yeah.
I won't heckle too much.
Another thing about Jordan is he's also when we're talking about Keno AF, he's a very talented local independent photographer too. So just want to point out that Pauly's Pro Pics, because he used to, well, he still does some things from The Observer, but always supportive of him.
It's windy out there.
Yeah. But then the main part of the show, the final thing, will be a reading of a script called A Kenosha Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Which is it's based on the classic tale, but it's got a little twist.
Yes, a Kenosha twist.
And all three of you have starring roles in this.
Yes, it's going to be so great. Koerri, you are Scrooge. You have the main role.
That one's a little better.
So that's going to be real fun.
So even though tickets are sold out, you can watch it streaming live.
Yep.
So I would make a night of it on Saturday night. Stay home, order pizza from Luigi's, and watch the show on Facebook.
Yes, it's going to be great. And all money.
And then hit that donation button.
Because all money raised will go to less fortunate kids toy drive when we're working with Walking in My Shoes with Joe Wynn.
And she'll be our guest on our podcast next week, too.
Yes, so and she'll be at the event as well.
So stay tuned. You'll be able to hear from her next week.
So it's going to be a great show. Thank you, La Macchia, Frank Steiner, and Luigi's once again for that. And you guys, it's going to be so much fun that day. It's going to be crazy. And we're going to raise some good money for a good cause.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the thing that I love about the events, especially the stuff that we've talked about doing together, which this is, one of them, is just there's always an element of giving back to the community that I wasn't used to before in like the corporate world. So I appreciate and really enjoy that that's something that we all collectively focus on. I think that's really encouraging.
Well, that's something you've been doing as well, because, we could talk about both of you guys have received numerous monetary support for the past year. And you've been using that to help support other people. How have you been doing that?
So what I can remember is, so I got $45,000, which I split in half between myself and basically Uptown or money I was planning on donating back. So a lot of it, so I donated some to Shalom. I donated some to Grace. I gave, I think, $1,200 to two businesses. And then I gave $1,000 to a musician who was struggling at a time. And then, quite honestly, a lot of them, I donated some to GoFundMes. One of them was for a rehab place in Racine, just because, rehab.
Yeah.
And me being a former addict. But no, all the money all of that money went towards either those bigger things, or honestly, there was a period of time where anytime I saw somebody with a GoFundMe or like, hey, I need this much, or something like, hey, I need a hotel room for the night, I was the guy that was just like right in their inbox.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Like,
cool.
All right, what's your Cash App or PayPal?
Yeah, awesome.
So like I did that and kept doing it and doing it and doing it until all that money was gone. Like I was just broke. Because that's what I said I was going to do with it.
Yeah.
Like once I said like I'm giving half of this back, like that was set in stone. I can't be like, guys, no. Like it was done.
Hey, remember when I helped you out?
You got to go all the way. And it worked out because honestly, it got some people through difficult times, and we both made it through. I'm doing well now. Like I'm stable again. Most of the people that I helped out, I encountered them and they're stable too. So it was just kind of just a little thing they needed to get by. And I'm glad that I was able to do that. I loved being able to do that for the community. I really did. It was the most satisfying thing out of all of it. Just like somebody like really struggling. I'm like, got you.
I love that.
That's why I hate to admit it, but I do like charity work, things like that. It's kind of selfish because it makes me feel better that I'm helping someone else. So it's kind of for selfish reasons that I'm helping someone else.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of because I feel better. I feel like it makes me feel good that someone got a little bit of help.
Here's the trick that I've learned. Anytime that I'm like, is this too much for me? I'll do something. Never say it publicly. Never tell anybody I did it publicly.
Yeah, that's how I was. I was doing Meals for Wheels for many years, and then I didn't really say anything about it until I saw they needed people, they needed drivers, so I started putting the word out. I'm like, hey, I've been doing this. They need more people, and actually got a couple of my friends signed up for it, and they still do it to this day. So sometimes you do want to keep it to yourself, but then other times you can inspire others to kind of help out too.
Oh, exactly. That's why over the last year, like I was almost selective in what. So anytime I gave money to a business or something, like they're probably going to do a social media post or something like that, even though I didn't encourage it or anything. I wasn't opposed either, but there's many, 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 many things I did behind the scenes that will just stay with me and that one other person, unless they reveal it.
When you write that book, it'll all be in the book.
Yeah, when I write that. You know what? It's funny. I have started a book so many times. It's about the right tone. I think the first draft was like angry, and I'm like, give it a few months.
Now, Koerri, throughout the past year, you've also received numerous donations and things like that throughout the year. So what have you been doing with that?
I mean, to be 100% honest, I've been trying to upgrade as much as I can as far as it comes to equipment, being out and about. With the show is, I've gotten mics and things that you need, stuff of that nature. Of course, being out in the streets, having the proper stuff like Rode microphones, things like that. But to be honest, like what I do, for the most part, I've gotten support in some aspects. It's at certain points of time, but for the most part, it's been a lot of grinding. So I mean, that's why, especially dealing with Kino AF and stuff like that, like that was kind of more like a goal where we can kind of have a collective where we can do things together, my whole approach is really trying to help highlight situations for people, right? And doing that, I can say there's not much of a monetary gain. Yeah. Now, to be transparent, where I am now, after I'd say a year of grinding, focusing in on social media, might I add, this is, with my situation, it's the only job that I have. Yeah. Just because I live in Kenosha and it's kind of weird living here. Just to be completely honest.
You probably get stopped on the street every day.
Yeah. So again, the support that I've received, I have received support from people. A big one I would like to shout out, and every time I see them, is Lamelli's, because they gave me a nice big donation that I was able to use.
What was that?
Lamelli's Butcher Shop.
Okay.
Yeah, and just because they were in the area for me, they appreciated what I was doing.
Where is that located?
That's located right by Frank. So that is 56th and what would that be? 56th and
about 18th or so?
15th or something.
Okay, right up there. Yeah,
like literally it's like right across the street from.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but for the most part, like I said, during the time of, everything going on, which was a little bit of time ago now, I definitely did receive, a lot of support from people. And I utilized that as much as I could to help sustain myself throughout the year.
Yeah.
Because you need a lot of equipment. You do a lot of things.
Like, not just, just being able to have good audio and things like that, being out there out and about. Like, those Rode microphones weren't really that inexpensive. Having, mobile devices, and making sure that, of course, all of the back end stuff, there's monthly subscriptions and bills and all of the stuff that kind of is attached to all of the stuff that people don't really see to make sure things can keep going. So, that's why I'm definitely excited to do things like this where we can go and we can have big fundraisers.
This is one of your first fundraisers that you're kind of doing, correct?
Yeah, but I was excited to do it, and because again, like the best thing that I really have for people, honestly, at least at this point, is who I am. Once I get to the point where
where you're behind the scenes,
where at least where I'm at the point where I can just I don't know. Yeah. What I will say is there's a lot of, I suppose, misconceptions of who I am, I suppose. And I don't know, I guess I could say what I have. But what I can say is I'm a father and I have 2 children that I support. And I work as hard as I can to provide for my kids. And then whatever I have else after that, if people hit me up and they need help, which people do, and I definitely, have blessed people behind the scenes with different situations, but there hasn't been anything I could say that publicly or, that I've really done for anyone else.
Well, I'll tell you, we're all going to be helping out Walking in My Shoes December 11th.
In situations like that, again, that's, it's not that.
It was the offer to play Scrooge. That's what got you, right?
No. Even if I was Tiny Tim and I just said the last line at the bottom, it's just the point of being able to, to be there and give back. Again, if I was who people thought I was, I suppose I would do a lot more. And I'm working and grinding and getting to that point. Especially, things have grown for me over the year where, things are a lot. Daniel probably, can attest as being a content creator, and you guys too. Things are a lot more stable now. Yeah. But it takes time. It takes figuring things out to get to that point.
And with both of you, you guys got so huge right away, and you got to kind of put that all into perspective. Everybody's talking to you guys. Everybody wants something from you, and you guys.
I'm sure it's a strange process.
Yeah, it took I would say, at least for me, to almost all of this time to figure out where I can be comfortably, and I'm still not even completely there because every day or every couple days I find myself should I just move? Then I could just because there's certain things that you want to do, I would love to, even just for the aspect of being around other people and meeting people, to work at a random place for a couple hours a week just to be around other people and not hiding away, locked away from people, because especially over the past couple of weeks, I've been isolated, just because again it's it's hard to explain to people, but every time I go somewhere, there's
somebody wants to talk to you,
and it's random, and sometimes people's approaches are
you know what you should do? Weird. A lot of that, right? Yeah. You know what you should do?
I bet you guys both get a lot of that. You know what you should do?
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I like things better now. This is what I like about it, is that doing stuff now is actually more about community than telling everybody about the community. Now we're more being involved, actually growing community, than trying to accurately describe it, which I think is so much more meaningful for both of us. I mean, because, we watched each other kind of go through what we were going through and what, that was like. And for me, I actually appreciate that it kind of went how it did for me, because it kind of beat the ego centric part of it out of me. Because when you wake up every day and a lot of people want to talk to you and everything's so much about you, you kind of get sick of yourself. And I finally got sick of myself. I never thought I could, but I did. And so like I think that everything had to happen how it happened for me, specifically the ups and downs, the mental breakdowns, the emotional breakdowns, everything that happened for me to be comfortable as a person and in life now, to kind of understand what I want to do, what my limits are, and just kind of be able to
do what you want to do with the Uptown Observer.
Exactly, and just enjoy the fact that I'm me.
There we go. And we're all here just to take the ride, right?
Just day at a time.
We're going with the flow.
Day at a time, man. Yeah, it's rough out here sometimes.
Yeah, right.
So, Corey, you're a big pop culture guy. Did you see the new Ghostbusters movie yet?
No, I have not. Not yet. I was going to, but I actually suggested it the other day. Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I suggested it, but we didn't go see it.
Because we're recording it the weekend that it came out. If anyone's listening. Donnie, you saw it already.
I saw it, and I wasn't a big fan of it.
Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Oh.
Is it Finn Wolfhard?
Well, I'm sorry, what's
was
it?
because of Finn Wolfhard?
No. It was just stop rehashing all this old stuff. I don't know.
But you went and saw it the opening weekend.
My brother got the tickets for free.
Okay, so you weren't. Okay.
It was one of those movies I would have just waited to see on HBO Max or whatever would come out on.
Like King Richard.
I don't pay for
Are
stuff.
you going to go see King Richard?
Dude, I know exactly the next movie I'm going to go see in
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Okay, I know two next movies I'm going to go see because I wasn't even thinking about Spider-Man. The Batman is like,
that looks so good.
red circle
I heard it's
on
almost
my
running
calendar.
time of 3 hours.
What, really?
Yeah.
I don't care. It looks almost like they're secretly doing the long Halloween, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
it does
Robert
look
Patrick,
really
I believe, is playing
Patterson.
Patterson. Oh, that
Robert Patrick's a Terminator.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, I saw
Agent
him
Dog
at
too.
the Wizarding World too.
That Spider-Man movie, though.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty good.
I'm
have the
going to
biggest
laugh
boner
so
for it.
hard if you go to the movie and Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire really aren't
I
in
know.
it.
Yeah,
that would
Just walk out of the theater like, yo!
Yeah, then they'll be like, "We told you we weren't in it."
I thought you were lying to me. Nope.
I just watched Shang-Chi for the first time last
Oh,
night.
that's really good.
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea who, the superhero. I'm not that big of a comic guy, but that was a great movie. Yeah, it was really good. I'm a big fan of Awkwafina too. She was in it too. I like her show. So
See, Marvel, I don't know how much I'm going to continue on. Like, I'm going to finish out Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, but like, Endgame was like too good of an end. Like, it was a clean break.
yeah,
You're not even going to watch Hawkeye over the holiday?
I mean, that looks so good, so funny too. I mean, it looks like
I'm not going to let Marvel pull me back in for another 10 years. Man.
She-Hulk's coming.
Yeah,
like,
She-Hulk looks pretty good.
See,
too.
Daredevil,
Yep.
Punisher, they come back.
Moon
I'm
Knight's
dead.
coming.
Like, it's
Daredevil's
it's
over.
over.
There's rumors about Daredevil.
I know.
You seen
Daredevil.
You know you're coming back.
Dude, even
They're getting you,
Punisher,
man.
they mentioned that, and I'm like, you got them back. Like,
There's-
I'm in.
There's no way. If they want to make money, they might as well bring back Johnny Bernthal.
I mean, the
They-
X-Men are gonna.
if they
X-Men are
recast
gonna
the
be
Punisher,
involved
I would
in
be
it,
so
too.
mad.
no, he was perfect.
He's the perfect Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Bernthal. Yeah.
And Charlie Cox, like as Daredevil.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, the only people they really need to recast out of the Defenders, I would say, would be Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Oh, dude, definitely.
Yeah, well, I
don't even think we need to have a discussion
about
about that.
Iron
Like, let's
Fist.
accept it.
Luke Cage is like, you could bring him back. You could bring him back. But,
You could bring him back. It's just like I almost
Iron
want them to
Fist,
like
you need
finish off like that story because it was like left at a point where you're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I'd like to see it. Make it happen, Marvel.
So as you can see, yeah, this is how me and Corey talk. Like nobody's around.
Use the Disney dollars. You have like infinite Disney dollars. Make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything you guys want to add? Anything you guys want to plug before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, just, as me and Corey both stated, yeah, we're both doing better than we were, but at the same time.
And you're both doing better than ever as well.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, please remember that your independent people in your local community don't have that corporate safety net. And really, the content that we do produce and what we offer is based off of you guys supporting us.
Yep.
So please, if you can and when you can, just throw a couple bucks, anything.
Yep, and then you can do that at the uptownobserver.com, and you can find Koerri Elijah on Facebook, Twitter. I mean, you just go right there. You'll see the.
If you can find Koerri anywhere, like if you can't find Koerri, you're not trying.
You're not
and
trying.
then if you don't have the money to support these guys, at least share. You know, if you read a story on Uptown Observer, hey, share it on your social media. Say, hey, check this out. This is cool. You see a video of Koerri talking to someone. Hey, check this out. This is cool.
Yeah, my biggest thing is especially when people come through and they're watching in the chats or whatever it may be. I always tell them, like, you don't have to send money at all. I'm not looking for anyone to do that, but if you do, that's cool. But as long as you thumbs up, send in a heart, whatever it is, share the video, and just stop by when you see them live, then that's all it's about, and that helps out. So
even that simple little thing, like, honestly, it's a big difference over time.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. Keep up the great work, and this fundraiser is going to be great. I can't wait to see you guys there.
It's going to be a fun night, too.
Yep.
Yeah, it will.
Yep. And with that, let's thank our sponsors real quick before we go.
Okay.
Captain Mike's.
Yeah.
The Downtowner Saloon.
Here it is. Bluehorn Digital.
Union Park Tavern.
CarBox.
Lucci's Grandview.
Faded Barbershop for Men.
Wink Beauty Boutique.
Lulu Birds.
Equinox.
The Lettering Machine.
Luigi's Pizza Kitchen.
And Harborside Common Grounds.
Thank you all so much. We couldn't have done it without you.
Well, we could have, but...
Well, you're right. We could have.
We could have.
But thank you so much. And thank you to Koerri and Daniel.
Thank you guys for coming in.
That was so much fun.
Appreciate it.
And
hit that donate button, guys.
Yeah. Tune in. Facebook Live.
Just
Saturday, February 11th.
December 11th.
Did I say that?
You said February.
You said February.
I said February?
Yeah.
I said February.
He's already in
He's got
2022.
Valentine's Day on his mind.
Yeah, you're in love. huh?
December 11th.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at
Remember,
it.
December 11th. Never forget.
Yes.
Yes, do not forget that.
Yes, we need you there.
All right.
All right, I'm trying to figure out, what are we doing here on this show?
I don't know. What are we doing?
We are connecting Kenosha.
All right.
I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Well, the wonderful east, the beautiful west, that's the right place to be from. Sing it so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, my hometown. Give me a beer. No. Oh.
For sure.
Go back and listen to when you canceled Mike Perini.
What?
Oh, never mind.
What'd I do?
Nothing.
Oh, the pedophile guy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah. He chased him out of town, didn't we?
Yes.
He's gone?
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone?
He's gone.
Moved to Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, huh?
That seems like a good place for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's hanging out with
Sin City,
your
dude.
old friend Ralph Nudie. Everybody here chased somebody out of town.
You got chased out of town?
Remember they have like a Legion of Doom headquarters.
They're plotting to get all of us.
I had no idea he was chased out of town.
Yeah.
Is that a story for another time?
Well, no, I just blasted Mike Perini on Facebook so much that, I don't know.
Everybody was blasting him, and smart of him, get out of town, right?
Finally, his employees started hiding cheese, which is a great place, great soups and sandwiches.
Tim.
You know, they broke away from the pedophile and got on their own thing, and
They're doing great now.
Oh, so the whole...
Yep, the Blue Poppers is gone.
I wasn't even, I wasn't even,
Yeah.
no more Blue Popper.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
They're
wow.
done.
Dang.
I guess they're black and blue now.
That's a pretty big loss. That's a mighty blow.
yeah, they don't even have a website going anymore. They're
Oh, man.
he's erased.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
well.
leave the kids alone, man.
Yeah,
Ain't that
yeah.
the truth? Ain't that the
You know,
truth?
especially if you're going to be working at our events and stuff like that in Kenosha. And,
Or, show your face publicly.
yeah,
Yeah, you really can't.
yeah.